Welcome to Friedman Adventures, your home for fishing, food, and travel. And now, let's find your adventure on another edition of Friedman Adventures. Hey, good morning, my friends. It is so great to be back with you this lovely Thursday morning. It's time for another edition of Morning Briefing. As I'm down here on the beach, it's drizzly. It's almost a little bit rainy. Well, you can't call it rain. It's a little bit of a drizzle. There's some surf fishing guys going at it behind me, so they can keep you entertained along with me, and hopefully we'll see them catching some fish, because I'll tell you one thing right now. This ocean this morning is really active. There are birds hitting the water. There are dolphins feeding up and down the coast. It is really looking good right now. So fingers crossed that the surf fishing bite is getting ready to rock and roll. It really does look much better. And I took a long walk last night down around Bolsa Chica area, and there was some really good spot fin croaker fishing going on. So those fish are starting to move into the beaches. Of course, they don't bite artificials that well. They like to bite on the bait, and natural baits like worms are really good. I'll get into that in the surf fishing portion of this morning's report. All right, 11 a.m. this morning, the great Mark Paisano will be with us. Don't miss that. Mark is always outspoken, tells you exactly what he's thinking. He's going to talk about their recent trip down to Costa Rica and Panama. He'll be covering long-range fishing, the bait situation, talking about copious amounts of thresher sharks out in our local waters at one time. It's really amazing stuff. And he doesn't hold back on the regs and the future of fishing in California. Make sure you listen to Mark Paisano, including some incredible stuff about the independence and some outstanding, incredible stories about medical emergencies and so much more. So don't miss that at 11 o'clock. And also, May the 15th, just want to make a reminder right now, we've changed our jig fishing workshop venue. We'll be working with the guys from 540 Slingers. That's Jeff Yeomans, Danny, and all those great guys. Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Daiwa is a sponsor. We have several other sponsors, including Opsin Fluorocarbon. So you are definitely going to want to tune in and make sure you show up for that event. It'll be May 15th. We're changing from Long Beach Marine Stadium over to the casting pond at Recreation Park, right off 7th Street in Long Beach near the golf course. That's going to be a lot of fun. Man, I'm supposed to be on board the Endeavor with 22 lucky anglers this morning, and we're all bummed out that we weren't able to make that trip. The weather came up on us. It got way too nasty, and unfortunately, we just couldn't do it. Tucker waited to the last minute to make the call, and we were all cheering to get the answer we wanted. But, you know, a great captain like that, he's not going to take you out there and put you in a dangerous situation or put you in a situation where you're just not going to catch fish. So fingers crossed that weather's going to come down. In fact, one of the guys who was on there, D. Hayes, is going to be on the Mirage here, I believe, on Friday. So we're wishing Daryl the best of luck. Can't wait to get a report from him. And again, I hope that big sea bass is on the bite. That's some fun fishing up there. That weather comes down. It's a lot of run and gun type fishing for white sea bass, which is pretty darn incredible when you think about it. You know, I mean, going from spot to spot of WSB really does seem like a lot of fun. So we'll be watching that to see if it comes bouncing back, roaring back, and I have a feeling with some good weather, those guys are going to get on it. There's been a lot of fish taken on the squid. Sometimes you're in the shallower water up there, like 40 feet of water, and you need a sliding egg sinker rig up. Sometimes you're in the deeper water, you need a dropper loop. So go prepared. And that wind and current been pretty bad up there at times. So 8, even 10-ounce torpedo sinkers on your dropper loop rigs are the way to go. We did book a new trip, and it's a Sunday, special Sunday trip. We don't do much weekend stuff, but we have one, and it's going to be on board the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. That'll be Sunday, May 22nd. That's going to fill up in a hurry. We are going to focus our efforts on sea bass at the first part of the trip, and then fall back on some rockfish and perhaps revisit sea bass. And with Cody Rogers running that boat, we've got a very good chance to make things happen. So make sure if you want to get in on that, you send me a text right away. We'll reserve that for you. 654-227-6459. And you can get on that trip before it goes bye-bye. It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you on that one. Let me take you down south, down in there in the Bluefin tuna zone, one of the places that's immune to the weather. It may be a little breezy, but it is not stopping. Some great nighttime fishing last night, some great daytime fishing on the Bluefin tuna. What a bite. Amazing to see the volume we're seeing so early in the year. We're truly blessed with this bluefin, and the San Diego boys are all over it again. Great fishing. A lot of that 40 to 50 pound range fish now, which is a beautiful grade of bluefin tuna. But we're getting fish up to 150, and we'll start to see even bigger than that. Trust me on this one. You're going to see fish over 200-300, and many people have already predicted a 400 pound BFT this year. Will it happen? We'll be watching that, along with will albacore happen. We're still feeling very positive about that. We can update you a little bit later in this morning's morning briefing about that. So that bluefin bite going well. And it has been, you know, those like 100 to 200 gram lures that have been working best. Sizing that down seems to be best. Maybe those fish are on a smaller bait right now, and they have been very fond of that. Now, besides the overnight boats that are fishing and getting that nighttime bite, which is really incredible, the San Diego stumbled onto some fish in day range. So the boats that leave at 6 a.m. and fish till 6 p.m., they had almost a fish per rod, or did have a fish per rod yesterday, right around that, out of C4 Sport Fishing on the San Diego. That is, I mean, that's great fishing, okay? I mean, when you look at sport fishing as a whole over the past many years, that is great fishing. I know some of us are getting spoiled and thinking we should have limits every time we go out, but that is really good fishing. They're getting it dialed in better and better every single day, leaving at 6 a.m., fishing till 6 p.m. There's a whole fleet of boats down there that do that same thing. Again, those smaller jigs have been working really well. When you get into a fly line bait situation down there around Ensenada and above now, we're seeing more fish up above there. 30 to 40 pound mono with a good hot bait, and fluorocarbon works really well. So you want to fish that fluoro to get the job done. And of course, I wonder which fluorocarbon you think we recommend. Opsin fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, Friedman Adventures. You'll get a special gift and a handwritten card from Greg Brown. Making more work for you, Greg. All right, so pretty good fishing down there in that, and really good fishing down there in San Diego right now. Private boaters have been sending me photos and details about fish 30 miles from the Point Loma right now. So that fish is starting to move up. Who knows what we'll find out there on Tanner Bank and Cortez Bank. That also could get going really well as soon as we get some boats out there in that neck of the woods. So size those lures down. Don't forget to bring the bigger jigs also. You never know when this thing's going to switch, when those fish are going to switch. That is something that happens all the time. And being able to switch your tackle really fast is super important. So go back and watch the tackle tip that Sam De La Torre had for you. It's a super good one. Makes changing your lures super fast and efficient. It is a great way to get the job done. All right, taking a look at San Clemente Island. The area that Tino Valentine was fishing was just way too rough to get anything accomplished today. So Tino threw in the towel. Maybe he's going to go corvina fishing. He loves to do that. But that area was really susceptible to a lot of wind and weather, and they certainly had that in that neck of the woods. Previous to that, they were catching some really good amounts of yellowtail, white sea bass, halibut, and also thresher sharks, which is pretty unusual for that neck of the woods. The threshers we don't really see at Clemente all that often, but here recently we have been seeing quite a bit of thresher sharks. So the ecosystem at San Clemente Island is alive and well. There are squid nests, and of course where you find bait like that, squid, you are going to find fish. And Tino's been up there on the 40s on the yellowtail on a fairly regular basis. His last two trips, the last one, no yellowtail because of the weather. Had, I think, 9 halibut and along with copious amounts of rockfish. Everybody went home with plenty of fish. That's really, really good. And also, when we get back to some good weather, watch out. Tino will be all over it. And of course, Tino was just getting in on board the Freedom during our live broadcast at 22nd Street Landing on Tuesday night, and he jumped in at the end of that 2.5-hour podcast. God, that was fun. With Greg Brown from Ops and Fluorocarbon, we certainly had a great podcast, and so much of it was due to all of you. Constant questions coming in from our great audience, our great fans. We thank you so very much. Our stats at Friedman Adventures are surging way up for one reason, and that is you. Thank you very, very much. So, Freedom, Clemente, getting back at it this evening. Weather's coming down. Look out. That's going to bite again. Now, let me describe to you what Tino told us. In the early morning hours, even before the sun comes up, it's a dropper loop, and the fish are biting the heavy line, the really heavy line. Is that guy getting a fish right there? The heavy line is what's working best. So 60 pound, 40 pound, 50 pound, like that. A torpedo sinker, fishing the dropper loop is the way to get it done. Keep your alarm clock set. Don't sleep in. Get up early in the morning and make sure that you are out on deck, because they get all their sea bass and those fish sometimes before the sun even comes up. Now, when the sun comes up, you're going to switch your tackle. This is where fluorocarbon comes in really handy. You're going to want to definitely go to the 30 pound, 40 pound fluoro, and then you're going to go to a sliding egg sinker rig and work the water column. By that I mean, when you're fishing dropper loop, you're right on the bottom. When you're working the water column, you're letting your bait sink through the column from the surface down, covering all that area, because fish, as the sun comes up, start to move toward the surface many times, and man, I'll tell you, that bite looks really good. We'll keep our eyes on that for you. Catalina Island, we've had some off-color water there and a drop in water temperature. The guys that are fishing there are doing really well on rockfish and bottom fish for the most part. The exotics have kind of been out of the picture. Earlier we're catching some sea bass and yellowtail. Private boaters are getting some white sea bass over there, but we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Hopefully that is going to get going again. But nothing wrong with catching some rockfish. I'm dancing around here to see if this guy's getting a bite for you. Once again, Catalina will get going. You're going to see some good yellow fishing this year. Hopefully it's going to kick into gear here in the next couple of days. All right, we kind of covered that Channel Island bite in the very beginning. Hang on, watch that place this weekend. It's probably going to get going again. Very excited about that. And remember that variety of tackle you need to bring in case you're in the deep water or the shallow water. But those sea bass up there have been ginormous, just big fish up to the 60-pound range. You have got to be loving that. All right, so what else do we have for you? The surf fishing bite. Guys around this neck of the woods and up and down the coast starting to see a little influx of spot fin croaker, some more yellowfin croaker, right on the cusp of things starting to rock and roll here. That is great news. Most of it on bait still. I love the sandworms that you can dig up out of the sand. Those sandworms come in to feed on the grunion eggs. So we've got a lot of them since we've had some good grunion runs. Incidentally, a grunion run here on the 30th, I believe it starts. And that's when it's early. So they usually start right before 10 o'clock like this one will. It's observation only. But the more important factor about a grunion run for us as fishermen is that it just gets more predators moving in here on the beach. So that is really excellent news. Grunion, more spot fin, more halibut, more yellowfin croaker, and there's been a good shot of corvina up and down the coast here so far this year. Remember, bait is a great way to go, but lucky crafts work really well, and especially when you're matching the hatch during a grunion run, a lucky craft or a similar type lure will work very good along the beaches. There's a lot of kelp in here this morning, which can make things a little bit more difficult, no question about that, but I gotta watch this myself. Ooh, he's setting the hook on a nice one. I'm hoping. Yeah, maybe he's got a fish here. If he does, I'll walk over and let you see it. And also, I lost my train of thought watching this guy catch a fish. Does it to all of us, doesn't it? Yeah, natural baits, those sandworms, grunion run. Okay, slowly but surely, I'm getting it back. And it's pretty big surf here, but there's no wind on it. That's the important thing. And as I say, there has been a lot Let's go back here and see what's going on. Oh, looks like a little pinback shark or a soup fin. A little shark. Not one of the species that we're actually crazy about catching, but what the heck? Guy caught a fish. Nothing wrong with that. All right, we'll continue to monitor all of this for you. See how crazy it gets when somebody's catching a fish? I lose my train of thought and go crazy. Let me go over some of the great stuff that we have coming up. Again, just added a charter on board the Island Spirit with Cody Rogers Sunday on May the 22nd. We'll be leaving at 6, fishing till 5. It's a full day trip, and we're going to focus on sea bass, try to have live squid on that trip for you, and then, of course, copious amounts of rockfish. That's going to be a really fun trip. All you have to do is send me a text, and I'll get you on the reservation list right away. 657-227-6459. And then May the 15th, a really big day. We're going to do a jig fishing workshop for beginners, intermediate, and experts. We're going to have all kinds of instructors, over a dozen. We're going to be at Recreation Park in Long Beach off 7th Street near the golf course, Casting Pond. Google that. Casting Pond Recreation Park, Long Beach, and we'll see you there at 8 a.m., 8 to 11, 8 a.m. to 11 on Sunday, May the 15th. That's going to be a great time. We're going to have a casting contest for the pros at the end, but we'll be there with all kinds of great fun. And if you just want to come down, have a cup of coffee, talk fishing, we can also do that. Happy to do that anytime. So make sure you make that. If you can't make that, or if you can, we also have an after party over at Chef Jacob's place. Jason, over at Shoalb in Long Beach. We will be there also, and we will be talking fishing, doing a raffle, and doing so much more. That is going to be right after the casting jig workshop at 11:30, and I don't know how long the after party will go, but it'll go as long as you want it to. So make sure you come by and say hello. Great food. You can grab a beer, a cup of coffee, whatever it is your heart desires. You can meet Chef Jason, who's doing all our recipes and doing such a great job. All right, everybody. See, I've lost my complete train of thought because a guy is catching a fish. We are so crazy as fishermen, aren't we? All right, we're going to be watching the Channel Islands, that Bluefin down south. By the way, that weather down in the Ensenada, Bluefin area may get a little breezy, but it's going to be nice. Don't worry about it. Up in the Channel Islands, we're going to go back and forth on the weather, but we're going to have some nice weather here in the next day or so. So that's great news. We'll keep our eyes on that. Clemente, we got to watch. Catalina, and this surf fishing bite is definitely starting to pick up. Wishing you a great morning. Don't forget, at 11 a.m., right back here, Captain Mark Paisano with a great podcast. He doesn't hold anything back. You'll be able to listen to Mark and have a really great session. Take care. We'll see you back here with another Friedman Adventures morning briefing tomorrow morning. Take care, and I'll see you soon, my friends.